You're listening to the Fort Erie Podcast, your local source for upcoming events, hot new listings, and bite-sized interviews with business and community leaders. Here's your host, Brent Jones.
Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Fort Erie Podcast. I'm your host, Brent Jones, and today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. This is Season 2, Episode 5 you're listening to, and today I will have two guests for you on the show. The first will be Sarah Morin, owner and head coach of Fort Erie's fantastic Gymnastics. And I gotta say, amidst all these concerns regarding coronavirus, once more, I will not be covering upcoming community events on today's episode, which I find super sad. Look, the truth is this, guys. There's a lot of small businesses and families in this area right now that are hurting amidst all the cancellations and closures and reduced hours and social distancing. And I guess my point is this: if you're in a position to, please find ways right now to support our local businesses. For example, you could buy a gift card or a gift certificate to redeem later once this is all over to help local businesses keep some cash flow coming in. Many local businesses are offering takeout or free delivery or even shipping on certain products. And if you are financially affected right now and don't have the extra cash to spend, consider doing something nice for some of your favorite local businesses. Even something simple like writing a nice review for them on Google or Facebook could really go a long way. So, in a sense, it kind of bums me out with guests like having Sarah on today. She runs an awesome Bridgeburg business, and we recorded our interview. God, we sat down almost 2 months ago, like 6 or 8 weeks ago. And right now, I'm sure a lot of her programs are canceled, but that doesn't stop you from reaching out to Sarah online. You can find her contact information in the show notes below and ask her about how you might be able to register your kids for her programs upcoming, once this is all over. Okay, well, anyway, first, before talking with Sarah today, let's cover some local news headlines. The first story, the Fort Erie Public Library is offering temporary library cards to Fort Erie residents by phone. So all branches are currently closed to the public, but having a library card will grant residents access to online materials like movies, ebooks, and magazines. So anyone who is interested in obtaining a temporary card can call the Centennial branch and press 0 to speak with staff. And now this last story is just, it's got to make you laugh, I guess. A thief stole an SUV in the area of Jordan Drive and Jasmine Court, took it for a little joyride, and any guesses where he went? Yeah, if you guessed the drive-through, you're exactly right. Receipts found in the vehicle later, combined with video surveillance, clearly show this man, who was already on probation and in possession of suspected methamphetamine at the time of his arrest. These videos showed him rolling through a drive-through in his freshly stolen SUV. There just are no words sometimes, folks. Anyway, click the links below in the show notes for more info on these stories. On to this week's hot new listing. It is courtesy of Tara Corey with Remax Niagara, Team Zing Realty. Tara has 3515 Dominion Road listed in Ridgeway, built just 2 years ago in 2018. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, family home on a lot almost 200 feet deep. It's available for immediate possession and listed for $499,900. Click the link in the show notes below this episode for more information on this listing. And just lastly, let's check in with Fort Erie Questions and Answers, the Facebook group, to see, what's on your mind this week, Fort Erie. Dan asks, all blood drives have been canceled, so where does one go to donate blood? The most popular answer, and what appears to be the correct answer, is that if you call Canadian Blood Services, they can book you for a private appointment at their location in St. Catharines. Good to know. Linda asks, is Walmart wiping down carts after every customer, or should I bring my own? Well, can you guess what the top answer was? That's right, Linda, bring your own. Anyway, now on to my interview with Sarah Morin. All right, folks, welcome back. I am sitting here at Fort Erie's fantastic Gymnastics with none other than owner and head coach, Sarah Morin. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you chatting with me today. So let me start by asking you the same question I ask all of my guests, which is, what makes Fort Erie such an awesome place to live and work?
For me, it's the people.
Yeah.
I think that's what really kind of makes any place great is those that are around you. And I find that because it's not a huge community, you can really find that sense of friendship with even your neighbors and things like that I haven't experienced in the larger cities I've lived in.
So you've lived in larger cities before?
Yeah, like I've traveled a lot with my mom when I was younger, so it's nice to kind of have roots here in Fort Erie. And
nice.
Everybody gets worried as this facility grows, are you going to leave? And I keep saying, well, we are Fort Erie's fantastic gymnastics, so we're not going anywhere.
The name wouldn't have as much appeal in Hamilton, I guess, right?
Probably not.
Now, you've been in gymnastics pretty well your entire life, right?
I've never done anything else since I was 3. I've been, as we call it, a gym rat, and I kind of got bit by that gymnastics bug early on, and I tried to work with children with disabilities for a summer, and even though that was rewarding and I really enjoyed it, I came running back to gymnastics.
Wow. Okay, that's a cool story. So, but you've even, I think if I remember correctly, like you've done international competitions and.
Yeah, I traveled with Gymnastics Ontario as an Ontario tour selection team. I think 2014, 2015, somewhere in there, and we competed in Las Vegas, and it was excellent. It was really a rewarding experience, and I was happy to represent my province.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, what made you decide? I know we talked a little bit about this earlier, but what made you decide to kind of take that leap from being like, I love gymnastics, to saying, I'm going to open my own gymnastics facility?
So it was a bit of a horrible experience. I got in a car accident. It kept me from being able to work. I had multiple job offers, and I couldn't take any of them because I couldn't spot. I basically couldn't do the full job that they were looking for.
Okay.
So when push came to shove, I went, I'm going to look online and see if there's some equipment. And the world just showed up there on Kijiji, and I took my last bit of money that I had and I bought the equipment without even having a facility, and then just went out starting to look because I knew it didn't matter that I was injured.
Yeah.
I was going to coach gymnastics. So if I had to do it myself, so be it.
Wow. That's a cool story. And how long have you been open here?
Since February 2018. So
2018, so coming up
now.
on 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So let's talk a little bit about some of the programs you offer here. I mean, is it mostly kids for students, or do you get some adults too?
I've had adults ask me. I'm really looking for a larger facility to be able to give adults everything they want. So right now I'm really just looking at like the child demographic. We actually start at 18 months, and the parents come in and just follow along with their little one, and we overlap that class with our 3 and 4-year-old classes. That way, if the little one decides, oh, hey, I actually would like to participate, their parent starts out helping them participate, and then they slowly slink away off the floor. And I've had some kids as young as 2 join a 3 and 4-year-old class, because if you get them in early, all they really have to do is listen for it to be safe, and then we set them off on their own little class. And then we have kids all the way up to the age of 15 that participate in classes as well. So
Okay, so really kind of all age groups in there. I see from a lot of the photos online, you've got a lot of young ladies. Do you get a lot of boys that are interested in gymnastics?
I have like a boys only group now, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get that built, and what happened is they all registered at different classes at the same time in the gym, so I just took them and put them all together.
Oh, cool.
And we had a blast with that. We built some little ninja circuits and done a little bit of parkour with them. And
do your students ever put on like community performances or anything like that?
Yeah, so we'd been asked a few times to do that, but because we were so new, we weren't really prepared for such things. So I spent a year just grooming children. I picked certain kids that I knew had an knack for gymnastics. I groomed them for a year and didn't let them perform anywhere, even though the parents were a little hard done by for that. But it's paid off, because when we went to our first ever competition, we had kids win a category. We had kids finish second, and every single kid who went out and performed actually won a medal at their first ever meet, which was fabulous for them and for us.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, let's switch gears a little bit here. I want to jump into the rapid fire question round. So this is a chance for listeners to get to know you a little bit better, Sarah. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Blurt out the first thing that pops into your head. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Oh, and if you get stuck, you can say pass, of course, too. But okay, first question. Do you prefer talking or texting?
Definitely talking.
Talking? Okay. What is your favorite day of the week?
Monday, believe it or not.
I do believe it. I do. If you had to pick a favorite city besides Fort Erie, favorite city or town, what would it be?
Probably Ottawa, because I've got a lot of family and friends out there.
Nice. Did your parents ever have a nickname for you?
Peanut, because I was so tiny and I just like to roll around in the house.
Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to communicate with animals?
Ooh, that's interesting. I think I'd take the animals, but that was a difficult choice.
Me too. I'd take the animals too. Do you have a favorite holiday?
Probably Christmas. It's the one time of year my family will put everything aside to get together. So,
How long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
oh, forever.
Yeah, okay. That's it. That's the end of the rapid fire question round. So you did pretty well. We didn't have to pass on any of them. Well, let's conclude with this. I know every year you offer summer camps for when students are out of school. I assume this year will be no exception.
Absolutely. We definitely will be offering camps, and my favorite one is definitely our multi-sport. We tie in with Taekwondo next door. We have a soccer coach come out, and we might be tying with a couple other sports in the city as well. So the kids are going to get a little more than just gymnastics.
Okay. I'm going to include links below the show for pretty well everything you're up to, so people can connect with you and learn more about the programs, and possibly even get their kids enrolled. But as far as the summer, like registering for the summer camps, is there a deadline for that, like a cutoff for when people have to be registered by?
So basically when it's full. So those registrations will go up shortly. Everything's always posted on our Facebook page so people can follow along. And yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys, you heard it here first. Get your kid into one of these summer camp programs before they all fill up. Thanks so much for chatting with me today, Sarah. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're back. Folks, there are more than 1,400 active realtors in Niagara region. Fun fact. So you could chuck a rock in just about any direction and hit one of us. So how do you go about choosing the right realtor to work with? So here's my friend, colleague, and team leader, Ray Rosatani from Remax Niagara Realty to answer that very question.
What should first-time homebuyers look for when choosing a realtor? I think number one is, are you comfortable with that person? There's lots of realtors with lots of experience, and there's lots of consumers out there that, I know my business quite well, but, I don't always see eye to eye with every purchaser, and every purchaser isn't going to see eye to eye with every realtor. So as long as you have that connection, and then you're going to explore a little bit further in their abilities, I would recommend not signing a contract with somebody right off the bat, because you might be tying yourself into somebody that really isn't someone that you get along with.
And one more time, folks, we're back. I think I speak for all of us when I say that I can't wait for things to get back to normal. Now, unfortunately, nobody knows when that's going to be. It might be next month, it might be next year, God forbid, but who knows? Anyway, if all goes according to plan, Fort Erie will be hosting its first ever Pride Festival this June. So to conclude this episode, I want to introduce my second guest, Noel Leboeuf, co-owner and operator of the Bell Tower and Subculture, and also the man responsible for really spearheading this upcoming event. Check in with me next week, Fort Erie, next Tuesday morning. I'll have a brand new episode of the Fort Erie podcast for you featuring George McDermott, Fort Erie Town Councillor for Ward 1. But for now, to bring us home, here's Noel.
The attractions will start right at 11:15, and we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we are pretty sure that the mayor will show up to do that. On the main stage, we'll have acts on the main stage, both local and from out of town, doing anything from drag shows to rock bands to a gymnastics show demonstration that we'll have. We will be doing a car show from 11 till 2, and we'll be doing possibly a motorcycle show from at the same time, 11 to 2 o'clock. The location, we took some time to consider and really think about where we wanted to have the festival. We ended up going with the park-like space that's around the information center, just up Birdie Street. It used to be the information center. So it's 350 Birdie Street. It's directly across from the Fort Erie racetrack, which we are allowed to use for overflow parking. Saturday, June 27th. It's one day before the Toronto Pride Parade, and we will be there from 11. Or, as I said, the kickoff is 10:45. And we will be there till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Well, we can use all the volunteers that we can get. We appreciate any help. You can go to we have a Facebook page. It's called Fort Erie Pride Volunteer. We'll need volunteers during the day because we have vendors that will be showing up. So we'll have corporate vendors, and we're going to have crafters, and we're going to have food trucks. And it's going to take quite a bit the day to coordinate everything.
You've been listening to the Fort Erie Podcast with your host, Brent Jones, a sales representative with Remax Niagara Realty Limited Brokerage. Follow @BuyWithBrent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. Subscribe to the Fort Erie Podcast on popular platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and catch a new bite-sized episode every week. Until next time.